Hey guys, welcome back to the AJ Analysis channel, where today we are covering Manchester United's 2-2 draw away at Barcelona in the Europa League qualifier. And today we're going to talk about some of the tactics we of course saw during the game, and why, for me, I think Ten Hag edged this tactical battle. And I'm going to tell you straight away the reason I think that is the case, because some people will look at it and say, well, it finished 2-2, Barcelona had more possession than Manchester United, so how did Ten Hag really win the tactical battle? The reason I think he won it was because this was an incredibly transitional game of football. Now, the reason that is a win for Manchester United is because Xavi came into this game desperate for control. If you watch Barcelona in La Liga, they control games. They're one of the best teams defensively in Europe. They haven't conceded from open play at the Nou Camp this season. The best defensive record in La Liga. They control football matches. So for Ten Hag to rock up to the Nou Camp and play against one of the best controlling teams in the world and make sure they have absolutely no control is really impressive. So we're going to look at Manchester United on the ball, and we're going to look at them off the ball as well. So if, like me, you are a massive fan of one team or a fan of loads of teams from around the world, I have the perfect app to keep you up to date, and it is of course the OneFootball app. The reason I say this is because they are great at giving you the latest league tables, live team news, upcoming fixtures, player statistics from your favourite players from your favourite clubs, everything you need to keep you up to date with all of your favourite teams. And don't worry, they also have your fix of live football covered, with a match which you can watch live in the Serie A every single weekend for free using the OneFootball app. If you are interested, either use the link in the description down below or scan the QR code on screen now to download the OneFootball app today. So we will start with Manchester United in possession, and the first thing that we can see is that Barcelona went man for man in this game, with Gavi from the left wing moving over to mark a centre-back alongside Lewandowski. Pedri is picking up Casemiro. We then got Rafinha and Jordi Alba picking up the two fullbacks. Kessie and De Jong on the two midfielders, Fred and Weghorst, which in itself is a shock to see Weghorst playing in the midfield. And then of course the back three here up against the front three of Manchester United. And of course, when you play a man-for-man press like this, it's very difficult for Manchester United to build possession, particularly when you have players that aren't very good at it. However, early on Manchester United did have a bit of a solution, and what we would often see was Shaw dropping right deep into the box, and initially Varane would do the same. I'm just wary of putting Varane behind me here. Initially Varane would drop in behind me, right? So then Gavi would come forward, go press, but what Manchester United then done quite cleverly was they used David De Gea. So we started seeing Shaw take some of the goal kicks. So this meant that Lewandowski would then press Shaw, Gavi would then go press De Gea, which means that Varane is the free man, almost stepping into midfield a little bit. So now Shaw could find the ball into Varane in between these two, Varane could get on the turn, and actually very quickly, during the first 15 minutes or so of this game, Manchester United were breaking the Barcelona press with that little tweak there. So Barcelona are trying to go man for man with Varane and Shaw, but United almost tricked them into going man for man with De Gea and Shaw instead of Varane, which now means that Varane is the extra man. Manchester United can step forward, play forward, and then build possession from there. Now, unfortunately for Manchester United, that was something that we only saw during the opening 10 to 15 minutes, because Barcelona soon got to grips with the shape and moved Gavi to focus more on Varane rather than David De Gea, whilst Lewandowski was still on Shaw. And the way that this would work was Lewandowski would press De Gea, but curve his run enough so that he's still pressing Luke Shaw at the same time. This now gives Manchester United problems. For me, this pass to Luke Shaw is still on from David De Gea, and the pass to Varane was still on. However, we know that David De Gea isn't very good with the ball at his feet, and particularly, he isn't very brave in these areas. He doesn't seem to trust in his own passing ability, so he wasn't happy to take the risk of passing to someone like Luke Shaw in these positions, and that gives Manchester United a problem, because now they can't build the ball from the back. So for the first 15 minutes we could see Ten Hag's game plan, and it worked very well, but Barcelona quickly adapted and got Lewandowski and Gavi to deal with the problem. Now Manchester United have an issue, because it's man for man all over the pitch, and this is where it's quite difficult to now play, because like I keep saying on the channel, Manchester United do not have press resistant players. So what basically Manchester United resorted to was getting David De Gea to go long to Weghorst, which in itself is a good plan. It's something which I suggested in my tactical preview that Manchester United should do, especially the fact that he's playing in midfield, he's picking up himself onto a smaller player. The issue that Manchester United had from this position was that Weghorst aerially was absolutely dreadful. He didn't win a single aerial duel in this game. I saw Gavi beat him in the air, I saw Jordi Alba beat him in the air, I saw Pedri beat him in the air. How can you get beaten by players that are that small? It was really a weird performance from Weghorst, because he just never made the ball stick, and realistically, it actually just wasn't good enough from him. I think, again, he's been a good loan move for Manchester United, but in this game, his hold-up play just simply wasn't good enough. Fortunately, Manchester United had the players in around him that even when Weghorst was losing the header to someone like Kessie, Manchester United quickly had Marcus Rashford who could get round the ball, Fred who could get round the ball, and then what Manchester United have done is they've almost managed to change a situation where they should have been in sustained possession. They've actually managed to turn it into a little bit of a transition. And this is where the game got quite chaotic, but we know that suits Manchester United. So again, I think that's where Ten Hag edged it, because he made the game chaotic when Xavi wanted control. He really disrupted what Barcelona wanted to do. And of course, Casemiro is now behind Pedri. He's now the other side of Pedri, the other side of the press. So he can now get on the ball, play into the likes of Fred's. And now Manchester United can get at this Barcelona defence. And they did this very well. They got into some really good positions, but the final ball was just lacking a little bit. One of the other ways that Manchester United were able to build some more sustained possession was with Bruno Fernandes on the right-hand side, dropping much deeper. Now, we know Bruno Fernandes is not a winger by any means, so when Weghorst is pushing forward, dragging someone like Kessie but also Alonso, it means that Bruno Fernandes can drop in and be the free man. And that gives Jordi Alba a decision to make. Does he go on Bruno Fernandes or does he go on Wan-Bissaka? There were times when he would choose to mark Bruno Fernandes, but this meant that Wan-Bissaka could very comfortably get the ball, and from here Wan-Bissaka done a brilliant job, I thought. Sometimes stepping forward with the ball, carrying it forward, from where he looked quite threatening, but also we saw several passes over the top, where Weghorst would now drop deep, drag players with him, Bruno Fernandes would make the run past the ball, past the defence, getting behind, Wan-Bissaka's passing was pretty good, and again, this got Manchester United into some really good positions. And I think, potentially had Dalot played instead of Wan-Bissaka, it could have been even better, because the passing would have been even better. Wan-Bissaka did make a couple of errors on the ball, which led to Barcelona chances. However, I thought he still had a pretty good game. And of course, like I was saying, it could have worked the other way around as well, with Alba pressing Wan-Bissaka. Now Bruno Fernandes is the free man, because the player that would typically track Bruno Fernandes here is the fullback, but he's on Wan-Bissaka, or the winger, but the winger is up here on Varane and Gavi. So Bruno Fernandes could now get the ball in this area as the free man, and now Manchester United again have the opportunity to play with runners. Because Barcelona are constantly looking to play a high line. I can't squeeze them all the way here because it would just be too crowded for the graphic. However, you get the picture. Barcelona looking to squeeze high. Bruno Fernandes getting the ball in this area with time and space. And we're going to see Weghorst running behind, who had a really good chance, which he should have scored. Marcus Rashford making runs in behind. Fouled. Probably should have been a red card for the Barcelona defender, in my opinion. And this is where Manchester United looked so good. In this transition here, with Bruno Fernandes picking the ball up in space, looking to turn and then play with quality on the ball moving forward, looked really dangerous. The other threat that United had was Rashford kind of making this run drags the Barcelona defenders, which then means someone like Jadon Sancho can drop in and get the ball. And again, Sancho looked good on the ball, his combination play was good in these areas, able to pick it up, then turn and drive at the Barcelona defence. But the problem was Manchester United were just lacking that final ball a little bit. And with that lack of quality, it just didn't quite work out in these situations. The disappointing thing here for me really was that Manchester United did get into some good situations, they didn't have the quality. And when you play a team like Barcelona, you have to make the most of when you're playing well. In this area, in their possession, which was actually becoming quite transitional, Manchester United looked really good. However, because they weren't making it pay, eventually it cost them. Because what we saw was the time that Manchester United did try and play through the press, we saw Casemiro get caught, or Luke Shaw gives Casemiro a pass which he probably shouldn't be giving him. Casemiro then plays a poor pass around the corner. Barcelona break through and score, with their other goal of course coming from a corner, which I think Malacia, Fred and De Gea should have dealt with better. Mistakes cost Manchester United in this game. From a possession sense, Manchester United got themselves into some really good positions, but they just made silly errors on the ball which kept Barcelona in the game all night long. And like I said, mistakes cost Manchester United, because they were playing really, really well. And when you've got, Marcus Rashford up front, you've got a real chance. Because going in behind the defence, it meant that he was avoiding Araujo for large periods of the game. And he was absolutely brilliant once again. For both the goals, ridiculous play for both of them. Again, he should have got a Barcelona player sent off, in my opinion. I think he's the last man. I think it's a red card. Marcus Rashford was absolutely brilliant. And Manchester United, in possession, were good. I thought they really caused problems for Barcelona by making it a quick game. Manchester United weren't interested in controlled possession. It was quick, get the ball forward. Now can we get on the second ball, make stuff happen from there. And it was really, really effective. But I also thought that Manchester United were good from a defensive point of view as well. So before we continue with the video, I want to talk to you guys about where I got this shirt from. And you probably guessed it, jerseyfifa.com. They have kindly sponsored today's video and also sent me a load of free shirts for me to check out myself. And I can now really vouch for the quality of these products. They have loads of shirts to offer on the website, so if you are interested, head to the link in the description down below and check out Jersey FIFA for yourself. So from a defensive point of view, Manchester United actually pressed much higher up the pitch than what I would have done and than what I was expecting. And the reason for this was because Barcelona's shape kind of allowed them to do this. Manchester United's press isn't normally that good, the structure of it. However, Barcelona's positioning made it quite a bit easier for Manchester United. Because what we saw was Gavi moving into midfield, as he so often does, but then we saw Jordi Alba pushing really high, really early. I have no problem, from a Barcelona perspective, with Alba pushing forward. However, he done it far too early, because what this meant was that Manchester United could then go man for man. Bruno Fernandes on Alonso, Rashford on Koundé, Sancho on Araujo, Fred on De Jong and Weghorst on Kessie, with Casemiro picking up Pedri, Varane picking up Gavi and Luke Shaw picking up Lewandowski. And obviously that's what we saw right at the start, we can see a glimpse of that here. This man-for-man press from Manchester United worked really, really well. And again, if we're talking about Barcelona wanting control on the game, they simply didn't get it because Manchester United pressed so well in these positions. What Barcelona could have done differently was dropped Jordi Alba deeper. I think if Alba had come deeper, Wan-Bissaka was not looking to follow him at all. There was 1 or 2 times during the game when it happened where Alba would drop deep, because Gavi's also dropping into this pocket, dragging Varane away. Wan-Bissaka didn't want to leave this space in here, so he was hesitant to go follow Alba. If Barcelona had done this more, clipped passes from ter Stegen out to Alba could have created quite easy ball progression for Barcelona. However, they just didn't do it for some reason. I think that's poor from Xavi. I think he should have adapted his shape to do that. And as a result, I think Manchester United played a really, really good game with Weghorst on Kessie. He was doing a brilliant job of winning the ball back. Fred done an absolutely brilliant job on Frenkie de Jong. Frenkie de Jong is one of the most press-resistant players in the world. Fred made him look quite average, really. Fred put in a Park Ji-sung-esque performance, following de Jong everywhere he went and then snapping in, winning the ball back. And then again, Manchester United get themselves into some really good transitioning situations. There were also times when Koundé would try and play the ball out to Araujo, but Sancho was too sharp, nipping in front of him, getting the ball, and again attacking the Barcelona defence. So again, you're looking at a Barcelona team who want to control the ball, control games. They can't do it against this Manchester United team. Manchester United done such a good job of making this quite a transitional but a chaotic football match. But the whole time, Manchester United looked in control. And I really think that Manchester United should have won this game. And if I was Ten Hag, I would be bitterly disappointed. Because from a tactical point of view, I think in possession, his side looked very good. Bruno Fernandes dropping into that little pocket really hurt Barcelona, as did the runners off the ball. The genius of playing Rashford up front with Weghorst in behind him added that physicality to the midfield, whilst also adding that ability to stretch the pitch with Rashford going in behind. So United looked really good from that point of view, but also then defensively as well. That man-for-man press on Barcelona with Fred on Frenkie de Jong, Weghorst on Kessie, really stopped Barcelona getting any of the ball building, ever really building ahead of steam. Barcelona still had a lot of possession, but it was in areas where Manchester United were almost letting them have the ball because they were happy for them to be there. Ultimately, Manchester United were punished by mistakes. Again, I think for that corner, I think Malacia loses his man. Fred then could do more to stop him. And then De Gea, I think, is weak on his near post. I don't think it's great goalkeeping either. And then the second goal, Shaw gives Casemiro a pass, which he just probably shouldn't. Casemiro then tries a ball, which he's kind of forced to play, but it was never really on. And then Barcelona get that little bit of luck with Rafinha cutting in, crossing the ball. No one touches it on the way through and it just creeps in at the far post. So, really weird one for Manchester United because they drew 2-2 at the Nou Camp, which if you offered me that before kickoff, I would have taken. However, at the end of the game, it feels quite disappointing. So, that probably is actually the biggest compliment I can give to Ten Hag. If you told me before the season that I would be disappointed with a 2-2 draw away from home at the best team in Spain, I would have been very happy with it. So, it shows what job Ten Hag is doing. I thought Manchester United were really good. I thought they were the better team, probably deserved to win. However, Xavi and Barcelona have the quality. They stayed in the game, so credit to them. In general, Xavi and Barcelona do deserve credit. They managed to stay in the game, kind of weather the storm which Manchester United were bringing, and then punished Manchester United in the big moments when they made mistakes, which ultimately is what the best teams in the world do to you. And now we're set up for a very, very exciting second leg. But that is all for today's video. I probably will do a preview on the second leg. Let me know in the comments down below if you want that. Let me know everything else as well. What did you think of this match? Who were the impressive players? Who disappointed you? All of that. What do you think was the score? That does not make sense. What do you think the score should have been? Who do you think deserved to win is what I'm trying to say. All of that, let me know in the comment section down below. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you have enjoyed the video. And as always, I will see you in the next one.